live?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we live.
Turn your mic on and go ahead, Yo-Yo.
How do I?
Don't worry
Live?
about it.
Yeah, let's just-
So let's just
Yeah.
go.
Oh yeah, we
All
live.
right. Turn your mic on and go ahead,
Good
Yo-Yo.
morning, good morning, beautiful people. All right.
Good morning, everybody. Let me
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just-
So let's just All right, folks. Welcome to season 2, episode 1 of Black Tech Futures Media Weekly Chats. I am Ira and
I'm Jamel. Her partner in crime.
partner in crime, my co-collaborator, conspirator, and all of those things. We want to welcome you this morning, and we also want to welcome an extremely special guest, at least super special me. I think
Absolutely.
if I had to think about my top 5, and I'm going to have to say 5 because we've done like, what, 24 episodes?
Yeah.
24 freaking episodes, 24 weeks of Black Tech Futures Media Weekly Chats. And if I had to think about my top 5, maybe even top 3, Black Dave would be all up in there. Welcome, Black Dave.
Hello, thank you. How y'all feeling? How's it going?
Man, so
Oh, wonderful, man.
So
Wonderful.
good.
Absolutely happy to have you here, man. Let's give Black Dave a proper introduction.
Yes,
Let's give him a
please,
proper.
please.
What? First of all, he's a multi hyphenate.
Yes.
He does he does everything.
He does
creative,
all the
everything
things,
visual,
all
anything
the
you need,
things.
he's got it.
Yep.
But what we're mainly focused on today, and we're gonna touch on everything, is just him as an NFT artist.
Absolutely.
Right? That's what you're here for.
Yep.
Specifically with the drops that you have, which are NFT songs.
Yeah.
Are they a part of a
Greater collection.
Or are they singles?
So they're singles right now. I have lots of music ideas coming. So, but right now I'm just dropping singles, just testing the waters, seeing how it works. My goal is sustainability as a rapper with NFTs as part of that crew of things that help.
Got you. Well, what I've been seeing so far, man, you looking good. Like you got some, man. You got some investors. I'll call them. You got some fans. You got some people who are willing to say, you know what, I want to own this for myself, and because this is that fire. I really like your music. The way you classified it, what we'll say is it's rock infused anime rap.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I just shortened it to Afropunk.
Well, yeah, there's different interpretations to it.
Different
but yeah,
interpretations.
but-
I can play it Afropunk. I think that makes sense there.
Yeah. Right. You said you started out
And as a
right?
band, yeah, punk band.
Yeah.
Word.
My first punk band was called Extremist Whitey. It was like a political punk band, and so it's called Extremist Whitey, and that was the name of my first band.
Wait, place me
This
in
was
time. What year was this?
2003, 2004. So I was in like 10th grade, and the band was called Extremist Whitey, but I was the only Black person in the band. But yeah, it was just like a political punk band, because all my friends just listened to like 70s, 80s punk rock.
Right.
And so one already played drums, one already played guitar, and so I ended up playing bass, and that's how I got into my first band. Just me and my best friends.
Nice.
Is that your first like introduction of like being like creative, like, or were you always like an artist before that?
Did you
or-
come in the space in music, I guess, through music?
I didn't know. I think that was my first creative thing, was that. And so I started out with music, but of course, like I got into graphic design. I got into all these different things, photography, video, et cetera, over time. And just like out of necessity, everything is like, Black people's thing in general, right, is that like we're doing as much as we can with as little as we have.
Always.
And so that was my whole thing. Like my motto is doing the most with the least. So I think this is me taking all those years of doing the most with the least and bringing it here. And then hopefully the resources that I can gain through NFTs, I can start doing more with with more resources. And then hopefully the ideas get bigger and bigger. So that's the plan.
Talk about NFTs, man. Like what, beyond music, what else have you produced and put on the chain?
So my first real NFT collection is called Flips, and I run a clothing brand in South Carolina where I live called Charleston Hype, and I flip logos of popular brands, and then I just put Charleston where it should say other things. So like I've done these like Nike Charleston shirts, these Adidas Charleston shirts. I did a Champion one, but I got Champion tees for it. I have like a Supreme box logo and it says Charleston instead. And like the thing that I hate about box logo tees is like when you see it, right? When you see fake ones or when you see people do like box logo ripoffs, they're huge, right? The Supreme box logo is only like 4 inches. It's only like this big. It's not big at all. It's really small. And so people don't know because they've never owned a real Supreme shirt, right? But I have real Supreme shirts. And so like it got to the point in popularity where people would go to the Nike store that we have here and they'd be like, hey, can I get a Charleston Nike shirt? And like, we don't have, that's not a thing, but they saw someone in it. And so they thought it was real. So people go to the Nike store asking for it and stuff like that. So I somehow haven't gotten sued.
All based off all proportions, right? Just to show authenticity and based off of the reference of a big streetwear brand like Supreme. That's cool though. That's cool. Yeah. So you were really making noise. Like, is that how you kind of like built a brand for yourself? Was that the first time through those shows?
Yeah. Well, sort of. I was like the dude who was cool. Like there was no reason that I existed. I was just like a social dude for the years before that. And this is like my first real project. But everyone always knew, like they always knew Black Dave. Black Dave was like the guy. Black Dave, I didn't do it. I didn't think I did anything special, but everyone wanted to hang out with me. Everyone thought I was really cool. And then I got into like creating through that. Me and my friend Matt Monday, we started making music, and he was making music. I was like supporting him through like just all of my different creative endeavors, through like co-production, through like, you know, doing some engineering and stuff like that. He was on my first mixtape. And that's sort of like how it started. I designed that album cover. I went through and did, you know, all this other stuff. And then when I got into NFTs at the beginning of the year, or at the end of last year rather, my first NFT, like I was learning how to make your first NFT. I just took this like unused cover from my music last year, because last year in 2020, I should say, just in case we need a time context for the future. In 2020, I did a 3-song EP that I put out on the last day of every month. So last year I released 36 songs, and every month I would design the cover. I would produce it all myself. I'd record it all myself, mix it all, blah, 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 put it out. And so I used an unused cover, and it was like, it wasn't done well. I think I put it up for like $6. I did like an edition of 5, and that was my first NFT. And then I did the flips thing afterwards. So when I did those, I started flipping, and instead of putting Charleston, I would put like the names of cryptocurrencies. So, you know, there's like a Disney logo that says Bitcoin, or there's like what do I have? The In-N-Out logo says Ethereum. I have the Sega logo, I think, says Ethereum. I did a Neon Genesis Evangelion one, and for the Nerve, I put Doge instead. And so like just like flipping cultural things and creating like crypto cultural things. That was my first collection. Yeah. Before music. That was even before music. And then I did music after that. So
yeah, that's smart, because I think obviously people see those and they're familiar, and they can't sort of figure out, wait, why is this familiar? Right.
Yeah.
So you know what? So tell me, you first got into NFTs, and now, like I said, my connection with you is totally through Clubhouse. I personally wish other people, like everybody, would jump on the platform. There's different viewpoints about the platform, but I think for the NFT community generally, and maybe you can sort of talk about that a little bit, because you're totally immersed in it in many ways, from my observation at least. But talk a little bit maybe about the community. And at least for me, the experience is that people are very open. But then there's some rooms I get in, especially the really, really, 200, 300 person rooms, larger. And if folks are talking on stage about, certain things, I'm not always comfortable asking questions or wanting to be, and so I tend to listen more, which is a good thing. But maybe talk a little bit about the community and how, for new people who want to come in, our role is primarily working with Black and Brown creators, BIPOC creators, Indigenous people, people of color, helping them to sort of navigate the space as we are learning and bringing them into the space, particularly as it relates to artists and what I like to call the future of the business of art, right? But maybe talk about the community and how, a new person coming in, what that might look like now for them.
When I got on Clubhouse, there were like less than 100,000 people, I want to say. And it was totally different. There was no NFT space. Atlanta rap music was Clubhouse at the time. I remember actually there were months that I didn't see a white person on Clubhouse. Like I was just like, oh, I guess it's all Black people on here, like doing rap stuff. And then once I got into the NFT space, even at the beginning, I was in rooms with Amir and Casimir and like Lady Phoenix and like, I was still in the room with people of color for a long time. And then when the Beeple thing happened, I think it flipped and I was like, oh, there's like a lot of people who are into this. But then I found out that it was a lot of white people. However, I think once it boomed, a lot of people wanted to start making communities around it. I was already talking about it, and I'm still not one of those guys who really is like super heavy on like trying to make my own club and make my own thing. But finding and joining clubs on Clubhouse, once that functionality opened up, I think that's the real key. So anyone who's like getting into Clubhouse and wants to get into NFTs, I tell them to search clubs for NFT. Of course, join nfts.tips. That's the club that I guess got my footing, not my footing. I did teaching in NFT tips. I already knew about NFTs. So I spent a lot of time teaching people about NFTs and tips. And just go in rooms that are designed for beginners. Black NFT Art does a room on Sundays where they teach people. But Black NFT Art didn't show up for months until, after I was in the space. And I had a club called, I might be called the Black NFT Club. I don't remember what it's called. I made it, but I never used it. And so like, I think that, if you look, there are tons of spaces that can match your identity, spaces that match your first language, Korean, the, Indonesian NFT space, the Indian NFT space, the whatever, if you speak Spanish, pull up here. If you speak Portuguese, go here.
Nigerian spaces, all kind of African groups.
Yeah, exactly. And so you have to, first, I think getting into the general NFT space is important. And then people will point you to the community that you belong in over time. I think that's probably the thing, right? Is like when you go to school, you don't walk in with friends, right? You get pointed to the community that you're going to join. And so I think this is the same. And the reason that a lot of crypto people don't like Clubhouse is because they like to remain anonymous. And Clubhouse, they don't require you to use your name, but people don't realize that they don't have to use their name, right? And so so they get on like, oh, I need to give you my name. No. And then they're not on that, And so I think it's a great platform. People are really enjoying Twitter Spaces right now, but it's all the people who are popping on Twitter and NFT space, right? Like they didn't translate to Clubhouse because I think while they are building community, they're all the old NFT people are just people with money. All the people who came into NFTs through Clubhouse are artists. And so we're having completely different conversations. So I go into those Twitter spaces and I'm like, oh, this conversation is a snooze. But then you go on the Twitter feed and everyone's like, oh God, what a huge community Beanie's building. He's such a genius. 4156 is da 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 da. G Money this, like all the like OG like CryptoPunk dudes, they understand the business side and the financial side and blah blah blah. But like when you go on Clubhouse, like we're talking about taste, if possible. We're talking about art. We're talking about how to do things. A lot of these guys who are influencers on Twitter, they're collectors, they're buyers, they're not artists. They don't go through that sort of process that we go through. And so if you're an artist, just please like use Clubhouse. Don't don't do the Twitter Space thing unless you're like hooked up, plugged in or whatever. Those are my thoughts.
There is, like you said, that as I'm experiencing, there are different audiences, right? So you've got a Discord channel. I just joined Discord. What about Discord? Is that where, like I've seen people like Warhodl, those people go and say, yes, he's in Clubhouse. He's see him on Instagram all the time, and he's on Discord. He's got his own channel. And
Yeah.
so, like, what is that a place where the crossover can happen?
Yeah. So Discord's interesting because Discord allows you to build a community that's like active and passive at the same time, right? Like, because when it's a big chat feed, you just come and go as you please, but there are people who want to stay and hang out. And so you have both happening at the same time. Mm-hmm. And there are certain Discord channels that are like really, really good for collectors. It's a really good place to like try to share your work and get people to buy and explain things, and people can ask questions back and forth. You can like go live, you can screen share, you can do like all this different stuff. Discord's like a super powerful app for that. But it's like the NFT journey that all of us are on, we're just getting to the Discord phase. Yeah. Because the big artists had Discord channels. Beeple had a Discord channel. Why can't I think of people's names? Buck Linder had a Discord channel. Like, all these people had Discord channels already because they were at such a level that all these guys who have been in NFTs were like, hey, do you have a Discord channel? And right. While they were like, I don't know what that is, but I'm going to get one because this guy who spent $40,000 on my art asked if I had it. So I'm going to go get it. That's kind of the thing with a lot of these big artists, but us, like in the middle and on the bottom, like we have to figure it out as we go. So I remember there was almost this big push on Clubhouse to the metaverse. Everyone's talking about the metaverse, Eddie Gangland had bought his CryptoVoxels land. He had built up the thing, and all these rooms were about, I'm going to try to buy land. I want to get in the metaverse. And I was like, guys, Discord. We're going to Discord first. Like, the metaverse is after Discord.
Back on track.
Yeah. And now the conversation is Discord. So I'm pumped that I was able to like push that, because people saw what they could turn a Discord into, in terms of community, in terms of buyers, in terms of like actual money, and they didn't have to spend the money to get there, right? Like, when you buy a CryptoVoxels piece, you're spending like $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, like, and then now I have the opportunity to build community. When you can build a Discord and just start building, and be like, cool, here's the art, I made this special channel for my collectors. Here's this. And so Discord, I was so pumped that everyone actually followed my lead, because now you see, or you're just getting on Discord, but you will see how many people in the Clubhouse community are really heavy on Discord.
Yeah.
Even
I see all the platforms for sure. Mm-hmm. And I've joined a few of those servers. What do you call, and that, because that's what was one way I was going to introduce Black Dave, because you're a photographer, you're a rapper, you're a music producer, right?
Well, actually, Ira,
and what is a disc? Are you a Discordist? What is the word?
Well, more importantly, what he is above all of those, he's an inspiring Gundam pilot.
Okay, yes.
So let's just get that straight.
We've got to put that out there.
First and foremost.
Gundam got a little view at the Olympics this year, so I'm trying to. I would love to take that thing off while he was climbing that mountain.
Oh man, that was so.
Would have been crazy, yeah. I don't know. People, I'm just a Discord guy. I don't know if there's a word for it, right? Like, people, I see all these tweets all the time that's like, hey, who can help me make my Discord? And then somehow I'm always tagged in it. No one ever hits me up after it, and I'm not going to chase them to set up their Discord.
Absolutely.
But yeah, like, people always are tagging me, and you just make it. I don't even know how else to say. You start setting up channels, and like, a lot of the technological things just made sense. Like, I always talk about, like, so my birthday was on Sunday. I just turned 34, right? Woo-hoo. When I was a kid, I played a lot of video games, and then I moved with my grandma, and she was like, go outside. And then I'd move back with my mom. I could play video games. I moved back with my grandma, and I'd have to go outside, and I go back and forth. And yeah, I live with my cousin now. He's 15. And kids these days are like, oh, I want to be a Twitch streamer. Oh, I want to be a pro gamer. Oh, I want to be this. And I'm like, Mom, if y'all just let me play video games, I could have been a pro gamer making a lot of money.
You could have been.
And now,
yep.
now I'm struggling. So, like, whose fault is this? I had to go to college. I could have just live streamed, So,
yep.
It's interesting.
But it's true though. There's like a seed of truth to that, because we were that generation that was like, we were in the cusp of like, getting our knees scraped up and playing with, drinking water out the hose and stuff. But then coming into this whole gaming world with, N64s and GoldenEye, and then PlayStation, Dreamcast, all that, GameCube, all that stuff. And of course, our parents was just like, no, get your ass outside.
Go outside.
Go outside, like go. And now we're in this space where it's like, no, the kids don't go outside anymore. We don't ride bikes cross towns anymore. No, we're Twitch streaming.
We do, yeah.
And
now because
kids
of COVID,
are making,
man.
Well, yeah, that just accelerated.
COVID doubled it, yeah.
Doubled it, yeah, and doubled down on it, yeah.
My cousin has a Discord server with his friends, like his real life friends that he goes to school with. They have a Discord server, and they all just like hang out in the Discord, and they just jump from video game to video game. They're like, oh, you want to play Among Us? Oh, you want to play Valorant? Oh, you want to play GTA? Oh, and they just like sit and they talk,
sounds familiar,
hang out and play video games for like 8-10 hours a day. And I'm like, that's sick, right?
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I remember, I was going to say, I remember a time when online gaming just started and everyone was like, yo, you online? I'm like, what's that?
Right.
What was that? Yeah.
And it just and now we're here where you can just communicate and actually be with people while you're playing these games. And it's an amazing thing. I love it. Like, I love that expression. It's super cool, because I think that same exact way, right? It's like, damn, if I would have just kept playing video games, and if I would have stuck to Madden, I would have been an animal.
God. See, I can think myself, right? That's the first game. Right. But for me, that was college. That was undergrad. And it was sitting in rooms with guys like playing
Halo. Halo.
Playing Madden.
Oh, wow.
Gears of War was a big
on
one
Sega Genesis.
Like, oh yeah.
Throwback.
Yeah, throwback.
Love it. My like some of my like I had every system from the Nintendo up, like the first Nintendo up, and I remember getting the Sega Dreamcast, and that one was the first like real online system. So Sega's always been ahead of the game. So Dreamcast, you would plug in, and it would be dial-up. And so I played a few games, but I remember playing, and my grandma's phone bill was so high, and I never told her that I was like just playing video games online. And I was playing Phantasy Star Online, Power Stone Online. There was like a web browser in the Dreamcast thing. There were like all these games that had all these online components that Sega was doing. And then when I was in high school, we would do LAN parties where we would play, like you could connect like one Xbox to another, and then you could play like you were online.
I remember that.
I ended up like playing with my friends. Like we would do Halo tournaments, and and like me and like three of my friends were like a team, like, and then when Halo 2 came out, I was like, oh, I can't Zoom with the pistol anymore. I'm done playing Halo. And now I don't play Xbox anymore at all. But so yeah, that's like, yeah, it's just so crazy, because it really went from like no games to like the NBA is sponsoring NBA 2K and the Lakers have a team, like
crazy?
And it's all in our lifetime.
Insane,
like it's just
man.
that progression in such a short amount of time, and where it's at, it's mind-boggling. Like sometimes I tell myself, I'm like, man, can I keep up with this? I'm like, let me stop acting like I'm playing around. Like I'm born for this. So like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, adapt to all this crazy change, because that's exactly what we went through in our childhood.
I think you have to, man. As long as you're actually, especially if you're a creative person, I think as long as you want to create something, you're always going to be looking for the ways in which to do it. Here's a question I haven't heard you answer. And maybe you alluded to it earlier, but when you worked on your first NFT, again, how did you hear about NFTs?
So I had a friend, he's actually like much more of a Bitcoin guy than an Ethereum guy. So he was flipping NFTs on Nifty Gateway in like early 2020, when there was like real money in flipping NFTs. Yeah. And he was like, you need to start making NFTs. I can show you how to make NFTs, da da da. And I was like, okay, cool, let's talk. We never talked, and that's my fault. And I thought it was kind of silly anyway when I was like looking sort of into it. There was a lot less information than there is now. And then when I got on Clubhouse, then I started doing it. And then what's funny is I invited my friend on Clubhouse. He invited the dudes who own Nifty Gateway on the Clubhouse. Like it was like to that point where it's just like, oh wow, like you're like really in Nifty Gateway. Like you're not like some casual like, oh, I heard about this thing. Like you're like, no, I'm like a mod in the Discord Nifty Gateway kind of guy. Like so it was really funny. And that's how I heard about NFTs, was through him. And then I would say there's probably like a 6-month period like between me saying, yeah, dude, let's talk about it, and me doing it myself later. And then I learned about how to do it through Amir, Sirsu Amir, Mint Fund Amir, which is so funny because there's like another Amir who has a mint fund called like First Mint Fund or something like that. But his is the second mint fund. I don't care. And so like Amir did this like 5-day class on Clubhouse about minting NFTs, but he put it on his Instagram, but he put all 5 days out. So I just like on day 1, I just like did the minting and I was like, okay, cool. I'm here. But I showed up for the other classes, but yeah, like that's how I got into it, was through Amir's like classes that he was doing on Clubhouse, and he would do them like weekly. Like he would do weekly.
Did you find that helpful?
Yeah, it was good because it gave me, I understood NFTs. At that point, I had already understood NFTs. So like when I heard about it, I was like, oh, it's that? Because my friend didn't explain it in that way. He explained it financially. He didn't explain it like on the other side. Gotcha. So I was like, oh, that's what it is? Okay, cool. Like I already had bought crypto, like I get blockchain, like, so I was like, okay, cool. Like, so this is just like tokens that represent things.
So you already had that information prior to even knowing what an NFT was. You were kind of already in the crypto world. You already invested into some. So you already understood what blockchain technology was. So it's like that train. You weren't as scared to like a lot of, and I don't like to use the word scared, but nervous, because I work with a lot of artists and I'm trying to get them into this, right? But you already kind of had that background, and it kind of made it easier for you to transition.
It's ironic that the success of art is based on risks, but then they won't take certain types of risks. So but yeah, I was totally aware of a lot of the tech stuff. So when I got there, it made sense. And to me, like NFT, like the way that you approach NFTs is not that different than the way I approach streetwear. It's not that different than the way we approach sneakers or rap music or anything that's like of the culture. You know what I'm saying? Like you have on a marathon tee, and everyone always talks about, oh, if Currency had, you know, if Nipsey, if this person, if that person, like if Nipsey had gotten into NFTs, Nipsey made the first NFT with his $100 mixtape. You know, like
that's kind of where I'm thinking. Yeah,
and we're like, yeah, but we just do this. This is just like ingrained in our lives, like scarcity and rarity and one of one, and I got it and you don't, like
independence, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like I still wear the sticker on my New Era hat, like, you know, like it's like, because it's like, this is real, this is mine, look,
right?
And that's always been the culture, right. And now NFTs is that digital.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. And so what I want to ask you before we start wrapping up, and I think this is something that, you know, specifically for artists and musicians, more specifically, I meant to say, getting NFTs, right? I would have kind of conversations with them, and they understand the concept, right? But then they get deterred with, well, how do I get traffic there? How do I get traffic? So can you just give us a quick rundown on like what you kind of do when you are, you know, doing a drop, specifically for a single or a song?
Yeah. So I like to think of it like doing a press run. Like I try to find people who either want to talk to me, who want to write about me, who want to help me promote. So like with this most recent drop I did a room with Aaron Haber. I was on his show, his Drop Everything comedy interview show. So I did that, and my drop had happened that same day. And then the next day I did a room with Try Showtime, where I played my music for like 5 hours. Like we talked, of course, but I played music for hours. And I had my iRig plugged in. I hooked it up to my computer, and I was playing all my songs off my computer and like going through like my whole history as a music artist, blah, blah, blah. I did that. And then I got a write up on NFTs.WTF. I like had done a couple rooms of my own, just like stuff like that. Like I was sort of creating this run where I was using my influence, but then I was using the influence of people around me to, you know, to promote it. The thing that people don't understand about NFTs is like getting into it's hard unless you use a platform that like allows you to just swipe your credit card, because you have to convert to crypto and do all this, and people are nervous about crypto. So you have two routes, right? You have either the I'm going to convert people route, or you have the I'm going to find people who are here route. And what happened for me was, through my previous months on Clubhouse teaching people, I had found everyone. So all of my NFTs are purchased by people who I don't know in person. But like when I'm a rapper in Charleston, anything that I sell has to be through somebody that I know. But you know, this sort of shifts everything, because even when you think about like social media marketing and stuff, like that stuff is a lot harder than it looks too. And that's a whole separate beast. Like you could do a whole podcast on social media marketing by itself. Right. And so like this sort of, it makes you feel like you're still marketing to people that you know, like, yo guys, like I just dropped a new song if y'all want it, you know, like kind of like chill vibes. But then like, you know, some of the Clubhouse clubs are like, if you went to like your local radio station and they played your song, you know, and you're like, oh yeah, like I just played my song for like 300 people. Like, it's so crazy. Like, because I don't have a lot of streams. Like I have like 25,000 streams, like total. And like 16,000 of those streams is a lo-fi Naruto beat that I made in 2017. And so like, that's my most popular song is this lo-fi Naruto beat. But through the power of like Clubhouse and the power of social media, now people are like, oh yeah, you're an anime rapper, right? I'm like, yes, I'm not the lo-fi Naruto guy. Like, thank you so much. So, and you know, I'm making, when you think about streams, like I'm making like 500,000 streams in revenue each time I drop a song, but I only have 8,000 streams as a music artist, period. You know, like, so it's like, that's like, speaks to like the power of NFTs, but then on the other hand, it can give you like an idea of how you should approach it. And I think if you're not going to convert people, which is for new people, it's I think I use the time to benefit ratio. The amount of time you'll spend isn't worth the return that you'll get. And so I say, go to where people are and let everybody else catch up to you. And so that's how I approach it. And you know, you don't have to, not everything has to be an NFT, right? You can put out, I had 2 songs. So imagine if I put one out regular and one out as an NFT. And I was like, you can buy the song here on Bandcamp, or you can buy the song here on OpenSea. And so you have lots of approaches you can take. People just, I think they overthink themselves into submission.
I agree. Why don't you why don't you tell us your drops? Why don't you
tell us where to find drops? Stuff.
Okay.
And so the beat too.
The most recent drop that I did is called blackdave.io002, because it's the second music drop. So if you go to blackdave.io in your web browser, it'll take you to the whole collection. There are 2 songs. One song's called KOKN 10. One song's called Appreciate It. And there are a few visual pieces. I did some 2D works. I did some 3D works on there. And you can actually, they all just link to the OpenSea page. So once you click on the Buy Now button, it'll take you directly to it. I have a flips collection. So if you go on OpenSea.io and you just type flips in the search bar, it's the flips with the exclamation point. And then if you want to buy some beats from me, just head to blackdavebeats.com. And I last year,
I love the anime influence. It's such a dope sound, and like I try
to put in everything that I do. And so
fire.
If you go there, last year I did a daily beat. So every day last year, 366 beats were uploaded to my beat store last year. On top of the 3-song EP that I did at the end of every month.
Wow.
So I was a lot of work, man.
Yeah. Well, you know, before the pandemic started, like, you know, January, February was like, something's going on. I was already going, you know, like I was already going. So the pandemic, all the pandemic did was put people in my way, you know, like I was going to do this anyway. Like if everybody wasn't off from work making music, who could I have been? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hey.
so it's very interesting. And I'm just moving with time and like taking my time. And so yeah, I have over 400 beats on there. You know, they're all like available for lease if people are interested in that exclusive thing. I would love to talk about that sort of concept in the NFT space one day, but yeah, you can get those there.
Love, and maybe there's a part two.
We might.
It's interesting, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot to that. So yeah, that's where you can find me. My regular website is blackdave.com. I don't feel like plugging all of my specific socials, but head to blackdave.com and there's this list of icons, and you can tap each icon and you can find me on whatever social you want.
Exactly.
Dope.
Okay. Were you gonna say something?
No.
Okay. Black Dave, we have been so overjoyed to have you here with us today. Actually, people can also collect your NFTs, your current promo NFTs. The link is in my bio on Instagram, Black NFTs 9.
Yeah, guys, please check it out. Please check it out. That if you come from our era, if you're anyone like us, like, you know, where we grew up watching Dragon Ball Z, Gundam, just any anime, Toonami. If you was on the Toonami wave with us, come on. This is a fusion of what you listen to today, and the nostalgic, you know, memories of that, and just slammed together with dope sounds. Like, you guys have got to check it out. It's super dope. I really enjoyed myself with it, man. Black Dave, I can't wait to see you make more moves. I can't wait to see you create more. I can't wait to connect with you again and just talk more about this.
Absolutely. And right now, I want to give a special shout out to our technical producer today, Yo Collado. Hey, Yo. All right. Thank you so much, man. And then also check us out where?
NFTcreativetraders.com.
That's where you can collect all the shows. I said collect all the shows. See, I'm already
NFT. I love it.
But that's where you can see all the shows. We have special surprises coming at the end of September. We have other special prizes coming in November. I said prizes. Well, yeah, let's just say it. We'll have prizes. But we'll also have some amazing opportunities and things that we're doing. Thank you all for rocking with us for a whole first season of 24 episodes. And now we're in the season 2, and it's going to just continue to get even better. So we appreciate you, our listening audience. And this is Ira.
This is Jamel. Peace out, everyone. Black Dave, thank you so much again, man.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.